Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to our channel and thank you for joining us again on another episode. Just want to first of all say thank you so much again for everyone who's been leaving comments, supporting. Like, honestly, it's been so overwhelming, like seeing all the messages. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
So really appreciate it, guys.
And loads of people writing in and giving us some ideas. And
yeah, we have had loads of ideas, especially off TikTok. People even now, like,
TikTok,
honestly, giving us like
and coming from there as well.
Yeah.
Really supportive. So there are loads of subject matters that they want us to talk about, which we
There's
have been
so
talking
much,
about.
Yeah, but there's so much to talk about
But
anyway. In general, this week has been crazy, hasn't it? It's been a crazy one. God, we've obviously. I'm just gonna turn my phone off first. Sorry, it's gonna make noises.
Right.
I don't want to have my phone on whilst we're in conversations.
It's okay, it's fine.
Yeah, just the sad news about Liam Payne. That is one thing. I think it's just really. It's been one of those. It's just really like been. I didn't want to talk about it, to be honest. Like, a lot of people first thing in the morning. Our daughter told me, our youngest daughter told us, like, she texted, and I didn't see it till the morning because I do not look at my phone. So I woke up to her message and I was like, what? What? She wouldn't prank. She's not one of those, and no one would ever do that anyway. So the first thing I did is go on TikTok, Instagram, and it's the first thing you see. And now I jump on a live in the morning on TikTok, and that's all the conversation was. Liam. And it was just like so upsetting. I do not want to talk about it. I won't, like, it's too early and too much to take in. Yeah, so we've got 3 daughters who are big fans of One Direction. Well, 2 of them definitely were, weren't they?
Yeah, I loved One Direction, and not only that, we obviously saw their journey on X Factor, and we also went concerts with them. We had the posters, the pillows, the cups, every single thing. I think it was the notebooks, the pens, the pencils, everything was scattered in. When you got 3 daughters, and One Direction was big at that time because our daughter's in their 20s now. Yeah. So if you can imagine at that time, the boy band that they just grew up loving, enjoying, listening to their music. We heard it. Like I said, we went to the concert with them.
Yeah.
So we've experienced it and seen Liam and all the One Direction all together.
Yeah.
Up close and personal. We're very close to the stage.
You were more like a father to everyone there that day. We were quite close, and everyone who was screaming and needed water.
Giving water.
This man was
we were
there.
At the Etihad Stadium when we went to the one when it was really hot. So if you think about it, when it was part of your life in that sense, when your kids grew up and knowing when they broke up, how they were emotional, crying.
We spoke about that a while back as well when Zayn's song came out, and it brought back memories then as well. I was getting emotional because obviously our daughter, the oldest one, was the biggest fan, and she was heartbroken when they split up and Zayn had gone his own way as well. So
if you can imagine all those kind of feelings and thoughts that were connecting, and not only that, we on our other channel we do reactions. So we did one some time ago, and Zayn connected with us as well. So when you've got that kind of thing going on, and you're like, going, wow, oh my God, we've seen them on stage, our kids loved them, and now it's that point where we are. And then hearing this news, honestly, I saw a fair few Instagram posts and stuff because I don't watch the news, but I saw some Instagram posts that people have posted, like people that I follow due to work related, and even though I saw the name and I saw people writing or saying something, it just went off my head. It's like, when you don't think about it and you just think it's not. Yeah. I was just like going.
For me, it was the opposite. I couldn't get away from it.
Like who is? It's not that I don't know the name.
Yeah.
It's just that you wouldn't expect it.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's like he's 31 and you just would not expect it.
Yeah.
We're not going down that. Like the podcast isn't. We just basically say this is how it works. Week's been basically it was. We try to stay away from that, and loads of people like to talk, and say, look, this happened, and it is a horrible thing, regardless of what happened, how it happened, why it happened. Loads of people suffer from issues, problems that are unrelated. People don't know what others are going through, which is what we sometimes talk about. We've got kids in our 20s, so it's not something that's nice, and we're not going to go into the whole conversation. It was just like, it was part of your sort of past, part of your memory. That you've had, and like being with your children and doing and celebrating something, and then something like that happens.
So
and
sad.
Not only that, not so far from the age of your kids as well.
Yeah.
So you can understand how traumatic it must be for their for the parents and the family of just knowing that something like that's happened all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different thing. I know it's not nice. One day we're all going to go, but it's a different thing when you know someone's elderly or someone's got an illness. It's like you're already prepared slightly, even though it's not going to be easy. But this, when it's like just all happens all of a sudden, you could just, it's like an eye opener. And it's, enough. All I'm going to say is like, for the group, they've been with them the most, the family.
Seen their post or like
hope they can get through this difficult time and, stuff. It's not something you want to hear or know about. But that was one of the things.
It was not nice to wake up to that.
Yeah, so we thought at least if we mention it, that it is part of our life, and our podcasts are basically it's about things we've been through, things we've our life lessons, what we've experienced. It's about us, and it's about our perspective and opinions on things. And if you think about it, when you've got 3 girls who love them and we've bought nearly everything and we went and seen them. You realise it was part of your life.
It was.
We watched the X Factor, a big part of your life. Kids are growing up, but, these things still, these memories will still be there. We've got videos of it, on our camera, of being at the concert and the shows. I was just standing there recording them, their faces, them performing, and, and you just like going, okay, that's not going to happen again kind of thing. Those memories, those moments. Anyway, let's just move on. It was just not a nice thing that happened in the week. Exactly. So it does take you back on.
Yeah, and then that's what the point that I made is because when we were growing up, we didn't have that. We had closeness to our parents. We did everything with the girls, brought them everything. And it's just those memories that you have as well, them growing up and being such big fans of them. Yeah. It is heartbreaking. Yeah. Yeah, so.
What else? What else happened this week?
What else has happened? Oh my God. We've just been getting on with work, really. We've got a lovely little community on TikTok, which we've been enjoying. We've got a lovely community on TikTok, guys, and loads of questions. There's questions about families, questions about relationship, toxic family, loads fake people. That's all we get.
Fake people.
Can you talk about this?
Yeah, and they were talking about relationships with your children, with your parents, marriage, and that's why we keep on asking, what is it? We will discuss which specific things that you guys want us to bring up and talk about. Fake people was a big one, and I think then even more it went from fake people in the sense of something you watched that I haven't watched.
Oh God, yes. I don't know if anyone's watched it. It's called Sweet Bobby Catfish or something. I'm not sure. I can't remember the full title. Oh my God, Steve has not watched it, so I wanted to tell you. I wanted to tell you about it because that's all everyone's been speaking about on TikTok morning lives. That everyone's asking, have you watched it? What's your thoughts on it? So basically, it's a woman in about her 30s. I think she's about 36 or something like that. She's got a great career. She's doing radio. I think it's Asian radio in somewhere in London. She's also like a marketing person. So she's quite big. Well, got she's got a good career basically. And she's been in a relationship for a long while herself. I think it's been more than 8-9 years or something. It's been on and off, and then completely was off. She finished a relationship with this guy she's been with such a long time. I know there was things going on between them. She was with him when she was in her teenage years. Anyway, this dude just randomly she sees while she was out in Bath or something. I'm not sure. She's somewhere like I don't know where it is, and she's gone out with friends and stuff. And she sees this guy, right? And I think she's communicated with him beforehand on Facebook. She has, and she's like, "Oh, hi."
Are you going to tell us the whole story?
I shouldn't. Okay. So basically, this guy apparently reaches out to her on Facebook. Yeah. Okay. Friends her. Right. And they start talking very mildly, and then all of a sudden he's in a relationship himself. He's to be married. He has a divorce and remarries again. So she's got this little friendship with him for years, kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, he apparently gets shot. She finds out, she's on the radio station, she's doing her work and stuff, and she's got her Facebook open, and this is what's happened, or something's happened like that. And he's been taken in. Already. You are.
I am so bored.
It was a bit boring. He's been taken, especially when.
So why talk about it?
Because it's really weird that women at this age. Okay, because it's strange as well. So I
don't know if it's because I've been a couple for 20 years and I just find certain things like how the heck can people just, oh God, this. I wouldn't watch it.
So he's from here. Apparently, he's been moved from this hospital now to another hospital in New York because he's under protection with whatever. So no one should be in touch with him, this, that, the other. So now, whilst he's in hospital...
You do know that you can get phones in prisons, yeah? And most of the time, they can hide them in and they can call people.
She wish she had a friend like you in her life because anyway... So she's talking to him. They're still just friends. And all of a sudden, he's told her he loves her. But at this point, he can't... He's been shot. He's obviously injured so much that he can't speak. He's paralyzed from one side or something like that. He's had a stroke, all this stuff. So he can't really see her. He won't want to see her. They'll have communication over Facebook, but they'll have like Skype chats and stuff. But he won't actually want to see her. He won't want to show his face and blah, blah, blah. So she's always been talking to him. By this time now, he's told her he loves her. So they're in a relationship. So like 8-9 years.
Can you imagine her telling a friend that? I would be just like, what are you telling me?
Yeah.
What are you actually telling me? What is it? Did she not speak and communicate with any
No.
friends?
So no. This is it.
As a friend, I would just turn
So
around
she
and go,
has.
"What
He's
are you
introduced
telling
her to friends of his
Do you
and family members.
Why would he be in prison if he got shot?
He's not in prison. He's been taken into a hospital abroad now because he can't. Obviously, they said he was like a well-off guy, that he's in danger. So.
And that doesn't work like that. Because he can't then communicate with you.
You're a copper. You know that she doesn't know that. She's very limited. They did say
someone is in danger. They change their detail. They put them in a place. They do not give them devices to contact people that they, because otherwise other people can intercept and still find out where you are.
Yeah, well, there was very limited things. So she wasn't. That's what he started off with. So I can't really speak to you properly. That we can only communicate this way. And there's only a small amount of people. There's 2 people she spoke to, which were his cousins or something.
So I was just like checking everything was recording properly.
Eventually, the cousins turned into a big group of people. Yeah, and this basically cut the story short. The person,
please cut it short.
The person who was behind it all was the same person. She was the same person basically. It was a female, someone she knew.
To be the same person.
Yeah, someone she knew. And anyway, by this time, she said like, "I'm going to meet you. I will meet you." She's interacting with her, saying, "I'm going to meet you," and everything. The guy is going to come back from wherever. America is coming back here, staying in a hotel, still not meeting her. She's going out of her way. She's going to find him. She knocks on the door because she does some kind of CID. She hires someone and he finds out where this person's name, where he lives.
How long was this show, or was it like an hour, 2 hours?
You're going to say because I'm taking longer than the freaking show.
I'm just saying maybe I should have just watched it whilst we were watching the podcast. I probably would.
So she turns up.
I would have, you probably just got to the gist of it. You taking that, you're probably going to tell me the names of everyone and,
I want to.
You just give me the whole 8 years of her life story from start to finish.
No, you haven't. I've cut out a lot. Some weird stuff. I'm like, lady, how did you not gather? Like, this is so stupid.
I'm getting the gist of it straight away. Yeah.
So basically, got the story.
And guess what? It wasn't the real person.
She turned up at the guy's house. Yeah. He's married. He's got a kid now.
And that's what they do in Catfish.
Yeah.
When you said, like, short story, it's basically, she met someone online and they portrayed to be someone else. And when she actually went there to, meet this person after 8 years, they discovered that it wasn't that person and it was someone else and it was mystery,
Yeah, so but it's really interesting to see who, like, can I tell?
I was not interested, I didn't care.
Spoiler alert, I don't want to tell you who it is. If you don't want to know.
3,
turn
2,
off.
1, it was
Simran, her cousin.
Oh, God, Simran? Oh, my God, that person? From Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge?
Like, honestly, so it was a cousin of hers who went to so many levels, who basically just didn't like her for stupid reasons.
Hopefully you didn't go, man.
For stupid reasons. Like, it was just mad, like, the extent that she went to do all of this, like, for 8 years. So she'll do, like, phone calls of the night. She'll do these Skype videos, whatever, fall asleep with it on. They're not talking throughout the whole night, wake up. And she's got recordings of herself saying, oh, my God, we slept together first night. And then it's like, oh, it's so weird. It's like cringe at times as well.
How did she record and talk?
They're on, like, Facebook or some kind of Skype thing where they've left it on all night long and they're sleeping.
Yeah, but obviously you can't talk, so otherwise you would know.
Yeah, but there's, like, voice records and stuff on their switch. She's still got in her files somewhere where she's sent voice notes. And obviously they've made this documentary to show that this is what they would have done. Like, both of them had their laptops on and fallen asleep whilst it's on.
Well, I can at least see that they're
nights after night.
Looks like they're both just mental.
So now she's in her 40s. Like, obviously, she could have had a relationship. She wanted children.
I don't know about this anymore because I am bored.
Obviously, everyone.
And if I'm bored, people are bored.
Well, people are talking about it all over TikTok.
I'm bored. Honestly, I don't know which one's worse. The one who was actually doing it or the one who was actually
that's what I said.
So I just find that.
There's very much annoying
I feel
parts.
sorry for that poor sucker whose name was just like dragged into it.
He was so lovely, and she showed up at his house, and his wife came downstairs with their baby, and she's like, you know, I'm in a relationship with you, and she was just like, what? But she was really calm. The wife, I was saying, if it was me,
because she's probably mature and sensible and switched on.
I was like, oh my god, just imagine
she
someone
probably
coming to
knows
your
her
doorstep.
partner really well, and she knows the life, and she like going, you know, like certainly like mine and Sarit's, we go everywhere together. Our phones, she knows I don't even touch my phone. It's never even in my hands. And so basically, when you work together, you're everywhere together. Your phones ain't even in your hands. Your wife someone could come and knock on the door and going, your husband's having an affair with me, and she'll just laugh in the face and going,
I would still want to scrap it off with her.
The only way you're gonna have an affair with my husband is if I was sitting in the same room with you.
Do you know what? Yeah, that's funny. I would be like, yeah, whatever, but I'd still want to scrap it. Seriously, you've come here to do that? There's seriously a screw loose.
It would be like that.
I wouldn't let her just go like that.
Shit stir and cause issues in my family when I know what my husband's like.
And that's where it brings me to the next thing. We were gonna talk. I want to talk about relationships, like how much is too much in a relationship. Like how much, and this tells the reason for that is more. It links to this because like that woman obviously knew her husband. She knows what it's like.
Yeah.
Many women would be like, "What?"
Yeah.
Whereas with me and you, like we know everything about each other.
Sri actually runs all my social media stuff.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say something else now.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
Please don't go into detail.
Yeah,
I'm
not going to go there. But Sri actually, all my social media fingers, she's got, as in the sense that she's got all my passwords and things to everything. So, and my phone's always there, so she can get in my phone. Same with yours.
Yeah, you know mine.
Yeah, and basically we could pick up each other's phone, and it's not like
feel like
oh god, why you need to look at my phone for? What you searching for? And it's not like that.
No,
I think there was at one point.
Very much, there was very much.
You know, when we're so insecure and we were young in relationship, there was loads of things going on. So don't get us wrong. Don't think, gosh. Right from the get-go, we were just like, oh, secure. Everything was, this is how we're going to be. This is, no. It was more or less, who should chat to now? What's going on? So it was that.
Who should chat to now?
Yeah. But it's become that we are in that place where our phones are there. And if we want to pick them, but we don't.
Well, I'll allow you to. If you need it, like to sort stuff out.
As in it's the sense like, oh God, you know, I need something, or there's photos or something work related. It's like,
I don't need to. I can get into all your accounts anyway.
Yeah, you could get into all my accounts, but I don't go into your accounts. But if I need something from your phone, it's not like, oh no, what you need my phone for? It's just like, oh, it's over there.
Yeah.
I'll just go in, get what I've got to do, and that's it, and put it back. That kind of thing. But we've also, it is true, women, men and women, boyfriend, girlfriends, how much is enough to share? Like, how much do you share? Or how much do you think partners should share? For us, I'm going to let Srit go.
I feel like we share...
How much do you think first?
How much do you think?
Then, how much do you think partners or married couple should share?
I think you should fully share everything. Like, I don't think you really need to, like, you know, like relationships and stuff in the past and stuff, it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't think, I mean, if you want to, then that's fine.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah. But like you said, I don't think
Is it needed? Like, yeah. I mean, if something popped up, then fine. Like, you know, you've met someone and you're like, oh yeah, that was my ex, the kind of thing. Yeah, yes. But you don't really need to go into details because this is a new relationship. He doesn't need to know about the past unless it was something really like something bad had happened. And I don't know. They feel like
it's two ways, but because again, it's your partner. It's like this. You can have. I was going to say there's two ways of thinking of it, and I'm not disagreeing with you. You're either going to have a partner who's going to say, firstly, I don't care about your past. It doesn't matter. That's your past is your past. You can tell me if you want to. I mean, some might turn around and go, you know what? I actually don't want to know. I feel comfortable if we just start from where we are. I mean, obviously, your childhood and everything else, depending on what the past is, kind of thing. Yeah. Some don't want to know about the past relationships.
No.
Right? But some probably will say, look, okay, I want to know your past relationship. But trust me, it's not to affect me or bother me. It's just that I'm interested in you.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean? I'm just
think that's nice.
So how was your past relationships? You know, what didn't work?
Yeah.
What did they do wrong?
Yeah.
What worked? So, you know, I'm not perfect, but I can build on that because you matter to me. Well, not that, I'm showing interest in you. You know, there's a reason why you're not with those people. And so I don't think it's a bad thing. But it's when, you know, I'm going to go with guys more You know, I'm not saying women don't, but I'm going, guys like to go, so tell me about your past, who you've been with and how many people you slept with, blah, blah, blah. And then they get annoyed about it and they get angry. Oh, have you? You know, and then they use it.
Yeah.
Even if they can go past it at that point, then it comes back up. I'll go, so. And I think women do that as well. They want to know, you're open, you disclose. But then when it comes to arguments, I'm like, well, no wonder your ex-girlfriend left you or your boyfriend left you.
That's why you don't tell me about your past, yeah.
No,
so
I'm
I don't
just
throw
saying,
it back at you. I'm joking.
Yeah. I'm just saying that, you know, there's things about sharing with confidence to someone that you love, and then knowing that they respect it and not going to use it as ammunition because it shouldn't be. That there's trust.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So, yeah.
So, yeah, I think for me, it's like, I don't think there should be anything like really kept away from your partner. Like, we share, that's just from experience.
Your mum disagrees, though.
We share everything.
Yeah, we do. But your mum disagrees.
Yeah. I
Very
mean,
much.
yeah, I think it's an Asian thing. There is the.
Is it an Asian thing?
In certain places, certain households, yeah, she wasn't the only one.
Can you remember the situation?
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't anything major either.
No,
Nothing
you should just
major.
not share. I think in her head is because of the relationship she had that they always throw it back in your face, and not to tell them everything because they will. Men will.
She specifically was giving you advice: don't tell your husband everything. Keep things hidden from him. He doesn't need to.
But
know.
I believe in
but
that
it
household.
Wasn't even anything major.
It wasn't even that household, that community, the way people were. I think everyone was like that. They wouldn't share everything with their partners, and hence why their relationships were the way they were. I'm not saying it would have been any better because the men just didn't know how to they just have no tolerance or anything. They can't even sit and communicate. You know, if they were to, that's what they were like. Yeah. So, and that's what all of them were like.
I know my mum said it to me a few times when we were together. Not to tell you, but not in the sense that I told you. So it's like
what?
When your mum or dad used to contact my mum and something used to happen, and they used to say, "Tell her, you know, why is our daughter being XYZ or doing XYZ? She shouldn't. You should not allow it." And then my mum would say, "Well, I'm not in position. She's a grown-up adult, and you know, if my my son and my daughter-in-law are happy." But she used to say to me, "Your mother-in-law's called, your father-in-law's called. They basically said X, Y, and Z that she shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be saying this, blah blah, go in here, go in there, whatever, dress like this. I'm telling you, but if best not, I'm not here to try to cause trouble between parents and, you know." But she said this, and I just thought I'll let you know because I don't want you thinking that they came and said something. I'm not going to say anything to her, but this is what they were saying. But don't tell. You know, I don't want to cause an issue. And for me, it was, thanks, Mum, I get it, but I cannot not tell. Now that you've told me, I know that you're not doing anything wrong. You're not trying to shit stir. I mean, if you kept it hidden and then all of a sudden your parents were to say, "Oh, we met your mother-in-law the other day and we told her," then you'll be like, why is she hiding stuff from? So I think sometimes you can get into that predicament of, I need to be open and honest and say something, but I don't want to shit stir.
Yeah, but I'm glad you always have.
But then saying to me, like, don't tell your wife. It was more to protect your feelings and your relationship.
I understand that, but in my head is what I'm thinking is, as a mother, how can you've been in a relationship before, I know what yours has been like, but how can you not think he's going to tell me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
But I always
because if you're already saying that about that, there's going to be other things as well.
The weird thing is,
that you wouldn't want
the amount of times it happened, my mum already knew I was going to tell you, but she would still say, "Look, I don't want to tell you."
I hope so, because there are women out there who wouldn't.
And I think it did get to a point where she knew that I was going to tell you, but it was like, "I'm telling you this, but I don't want to cause the issues, but I also know you."
Yeah, I think I learned a long time ago, and I feel like that was the biggest mistake that I made when in our relationship was, which I will never forget, was when I lied to you.
The card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. You know what? When Street said to me that the subject we're going to talk about is, should we disclose everything? We don't talk about it. No. So we don't like our sit here, okay, you know what? We can talk about this, talk about that, talk about whatever.
No, we don't.
We just basically, from what people, you know, tell us, that these are some things that, you know.
Could you speak about?
And Street will just go, okay, we're going to be talking about, or I'll say, we'll talk about a certain topic, and then sometimes we don't even go into it. We could go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But we don't go, Okay, let's talk about this topic, but remember this, remember that. Let's have this.
No.
We don't script something and we
It's
don't
just
say.
now that we're speaking, I just remember that time.
And the reason why I was going to say was it came in my head. Then I
Did
went
it come in your head?
Yeah, it came in my head earlier when you mentioned how I was setting everything up. Oh my God, but then I went, do I really want to mention that, or is that part of that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, well, I think so. For me, it is when I was like, let's talk about this because, yeah, how much is too much in a relationship? There's been points in
People want to know now what's going on. I guarantee.
Sweet lied.
I
learnt my lesson after that one.
Within the first year of marriage.
Yeah. I don't think anyone. Well, I hope not that they'll see us like, oh my God, she was like that, because it was. I think people will probably understand my point. I hope they do, because the predicament I was in.
Not understand it now, but at that point,
it was very much
that time I didn't.
Horrid.
I was horrid. You can understand from the point when you guys hear, when you just got married to somebody and you're still trying to get to know them, and you're basically hoping that the first thing that you're going to build on the most is trust.
Yeah.
Honesty and trust. And then within the first year, that person, when you actually open and everything, and you're more or less going, this person's got nothing to worry about, nothing to hide, and they can actually talk to you and tell you anything. And you make sure that they understand that. And then they do that, and you're like going, well, who is this person then? Yeah. Who is this person? And then obviously they don't trust me, they don't respect me, I don't matter. That's how it was.
Yeah, but if you look back at it now, I think you look at it in a different light. The way you acted, it shouldn't have been that bad. To the extent that it went to, it shouldn't have been.
I still think at that point, being in a relationship with someone new that you hardly know anything about, and they do that. I think now, if you see people in a relationship for 3 or 4 years, and if someone was to do that within that, they would still be like, who is this person? Why would you do that? You see this like programs, have you guys been watching? Married at First Sight. We've been watching it. Now, if they've just got introduced to these people, know nothing about them. They didn't even, it wasn't like someone they were attracted to or someone they wanted to be with. And people are put them together. Soon as they know there's a lie or someone didn't tell them the truth or hid something, it's like, who is this person? And this person's still a stranger. But they're pissed off and going, but I'm married to you.
Yeah, but there's a way of communicating. And I think the way you were back then was not nice at all. I know it's not about that subject, but yes, you're going to be upset and angry, but to the extent you were. Now, if I tell people, I would love to know in the comments how they feel, especially my ladies. I know that there'd be a lot of support.
Okay.
And even now, I still I look back at it, and I obviously learned my lesson from there, but I still look back at it thinking, I still see that young me doing what I did, and I think I still would have done it again, but maybe I probably would have told you.
And see, and this is where I say what we do is it's like two different perspectives. You, from a woman's perspective, are basically going, I was young and I did that and I had my reasons. And I'm also now being here, like now, it doesn't matter to me. It does not matter to me where I am now. But at that time, with my mindset and my perspective, also being young, that, I've got with this person and knowing that trust is important, because I've also seen that in my other relationships or any relationship, that trust is the most important thing. That this person's already broken the most important thing. How can if I can't trust them now, we've got a whole long journey to go, and I'm still young, trying to learn about marriage and relationship. If I can't trust them now, and this person can lie to me my face, then what are they going to do later that I'm going to end up trusting them and they're going to do it again?
Yeah.
And I'm still young yet, and I'm still trying to learn this relationship.
That's how you're feeling now. That's how you look at it. But when you were young, when it happened, it was all more anger. It was nothing like, oh, hold on, I'm young and I've already had these trust issues.
Nobody's going to turn around and go, oh, guess what?
Yeah,
I'm young. How am I actually
it's obviously
dealing with this?
I'm dealing this. I'm doing this because of feeling all the stuff that's happened. You're saying with past relationships and stuff.
Yeah, but
it would have probably if you didn't have that, you probably would have managed it a lot.
No, I think for me is, why would you do this to me? I'm not thinking about you or what you've been through or anything else, and I'm sure everyone else will be the same. Now, when you grow up and you're older and you know the person, I know you, wholeheartedly. I know everything about you. I hardly knew you. It was within the first year of being together, still trying to get to know you and understand you, and then something happens. How do you go, oh, I'm young, she's young, maybe she's done this, it isn't about me. Nobody does that. There's people out there who are in their 30s and 40s in a relationship,
Yeah, I
and they
get
meet
it.
someone.
I
After
completely
2 weeks,
understand.
someone says something, and you're going, "Dear, I'm going to go to work."
Yeah.
He hasn't gone to work, but he's gone to the gym,
I
or he's gone to
completely
meet his
understand.
mates, and you're going,
Yeah,
if
I
you're
get
lying
it.
about something simple like that, what else are you
I
hiding?
understand that, Steve, but to the extent that you were so angry about it, to the extent.
Because I was like thinking, I've got to spend the rest of my life with somebody, and already when we started, it's not like 5 years in.
Okay, anyway.
Anyway.
Let's tell you what it's about before you're like trying to think, what the hell did Sarit do? What, my God. Okay, so the first year we got married.
As you can see, we're still trying to defend our corners.
We are like,
views
I
on.
think
We're
because
not
we
trying
don't
to
really.
pretend that
No, it's not even that, because we haven't really spoken about it ever since. I don't think we've ever
No, we
sat
haven't
here.
spoken about
And
it
this
since.
is the beauty of what we do. Like when we finished our last podcast, we were sat an hour later just discussing in between each other, saying,
It's like therapy.
This feels like therapy, but also healing. It feels like we're learning so much about ourselves, because I don't see couples sitting together and just talking about stuff. And the thing is, we wouldn't really sit back and like, let's talk about this like years ago. I mean, we talk about stuff, but it just goes over your head. And remember this happened, and that's it. It's not like in detail. Oh, how did you actually feel? In fact, I was thinking the other day, just whilst we're setting up, there's something I really want to ask you, which I've never asked you before.
Are we going to go after the subject though?
I'm not going to ask you now, but
Okay.
I don't want to ask you on a podcast because I feel like it's very, very personal. Okay. But I've never asked you before, and I can't believe these are things that, as we've been married for so long, we don't ask each other. I don't think there's many partners who do the same as well. And we're learning a lot doing this. It's not only become like it's therapy in a way, and you throughout the week you're like, oh my God, shit, we've been through all of this. We recap and we think about things. It's also it's like. It feels like it's healing. It feels like you're getting more of an understanding. Something that you wouldn't have explained to me years ago. We're speaking about it now, how you felt about it. We just don't want to bring it up because it is scary going back there, talking about stuff that's happened.
It's like I said, like now, it hasn't made me feel, I don't go back and go, God, remember when that happened? Like you said, we haven't discussed it. We don't go back and remember when you did this, and we're not holding it. I've let go, you've let go, but we haven't discussed it. Obviously, we're having this like thing of, I was a total different person back then. I know that, and you was a total different person back then.
Yeah,
we've learned a lot about ourselves, and we've had to grow. I think that's what it is with sharing these stories and talking to everyone. It's more or less like going, guys, we go on a journey that we don't even understand ourselves.
No.
We don't even know how we should behave or how we should be thinking. Like Sweet just said, God, you didn't think back then I'm young and this, that, and the other. No, because you're not thinking that. You're just going, I need to think
and
about
it's
me.
not even, it's that.
Why would you
it's
do
also
that to
you
me?
react
It's
the
not,
way you would have reacted the way your parents would have reacted, and I would have done the same as well.
And you're reacting ways
what you
that
know.
you would, what you know. And now it's more or less going, okay, don't get me wrong, we still have disagreements and we might have things that we don't, and various other things. But whereas back in the days, you probably,
storm out and like...
Yeah, storm out, don't know how to deal with it, let it linger for several days and still trying to get to the point and making your point. Now it's like, okay, an hour or so, having some space to each other and going, okay, let's just move on. You know what I mean? And it's like that. Or Sweet will bring you back, so you can have another couple of conversations about it.
No, but I don't think you should just move on. I think you should
to make sure that you do know us women are right and you guys are wrong.
No, I think you both should not move on from it. I think it should be spoken about and dealt with, and just put under the...
Sweet's a very big advocate, and she always has been. In my family, it was sweep under the carpet.
This is one thing I
despise
about his family.
Don't talk about it, and the next day just get on with.
It's always like, oh, pray to God, everything's going to be fine, or
even
just
if
meet
it's
up.
The worst thing that happened, if it's even so hard and difficult, have you shout, rant, whatever, storm off. Tomorrow, just act like nothing's happened, and let's not sit down and going, I'm hurt about this.
I don't know how people can show up
Street's always basically gone, no, we got to talk about it.
Because in my head, it's like...
address it and then move on.
Because in my head, it's like you've had this whole hoo-ha about whatever. Everyone's feeling what they're feeling. And you're coming back to the table with all that resentment, but you're pretending to get on with that person. And it just piles up. The next thing's going to happen. And until something else explodes and everyone just goes their own ways, do you know what I mean? It needs to be... I believe, and that's what, and even though we have these, we still have obviously our little arguments and stuff, but they're not like how they used to be. We just need a bit of space, and we won't just let it go. It's like, let's talk about what was it.
We'll talk about it and go, okay, I agree. I agree.
Anyway, they're still
You're
waiting
right.
for
I
what?
agree.
What
You're
does
right. I agree. You're
I
right.
hate the fact that you do
I
that.
agree. Okay.
Do you know men?
Okay.
This is what they do. Just
Okay.
to just
You're
to
right.
like let's pretend we solved it now. We'll just say what you want to
Let's
hear.
have sex. I'm joking. Okay.
That don't happen either because you're just too like in yourself.
That's evil. They still want to know what your story was.
I do, but you went on.
Go.
So basically, before you all start, you know, what's that word? Summoning me. What's that word called? How to say? Yeah. Anyway, so remember, guys, I was like 18, 19.
18. Yeah.
Right. So I had sent a Father's Day card to my dad. And obviously it was really, first of all, it was hard enough for me to do anyway. It's really, really hard because I left home and I had no one around. Like, obviously they disowned me and everything else. So I really wanted to send him a card. And Steve had said to me, "Did you write my name?" And I said, "Yes, I did."
Street doesn't always tell the story in the way.
Okay,
She's like cuts through the what you could.
Well, you never want a long story, so I'm saying you how it is.
Oh,
that's
you gave a whole long story about someone else's family life. You know what I mean?
What else is there to say? Okay. I sent a card.
She just went, "Oh, Steve, did you write my name?" No, it didn't work like that. It basically happened like this. See, and this is where my memory is always great, and she knows this.
How did it go?
Okay, this is what happened. Basically, I want to send my father a Father's Day card, and considering he disowned me, wants nothing to do with me, do you think it's a good idea? And I went, "Well, do you want to do it?" "Yes, I do." "Well, do it and then just see how things go, you know, if that's how you feel." And she went, "Okay." And considering we're married, all I said was, "So, because he knows you're going to stick my name in it." And she went, "Yeah, of course." And he was like that, just simple like that. I didn't say it should be in there or whatever. She could have gone, if she had, again, because we both were young, if she more or less said, "Look, Steve, you know what? I think, you know, I've left home and the circumstances and everything. I think I should just write my name in there because I think, you know, it could upset him."
Yeah, but now I'm thinking about it. I'm surprised you even asked, "Are you going to stick my name in it?"
Because I didn't think of it. Because I thought we're a married couple. Now, it is what it is. That's it.
Yeah, but knowing the circumstances.
Now as grown-ups, as in adults, mature.
Yeah, but even then you could have thought, like, hold on.
Why would I think like that? I just like thinking, well, we're married. That's what married couples do. You know, it's like...
if it was a normal circumstance.
You're accepting, but you're accepting that our relationship. But if you still want to reach out to someone and you're going, "Okay, you know what? I don't know. I didn't think like that. I just went, are you going to stick my name in it?" Or something in that term. Then she went, "Yeah." And again, I don't know. Maybe it is childish or being young.
To me, it's more ammunition, rubbing it in their face.
You think of that now, but
I know I didn't do it for a reason because I knew that would have been the case.
Then that's where you would have spoken to me and said, "Steve."
Yeah, but maybe I didn't want to hurt your feelings, and that's how I did say that to you. I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
No, okay. Anyway, basically, I said, "Are you going to stick my name in it?" And she went, "Yeah, of course." And so anyway, she wrote the card. It wasn't like I read it or anything like that. She wrote the card. She sent it off.
Okay, I'm telling the story. So it's the same kind of thing. Even if you ask me, "Are you going to stick my name in it?" Or even if I just, you asked me afterwards, "Did you put my name in it?" Or you said, "Are you going to?" It's the same thing. I didn't put your name in it. You asked me.
Yeah, I know. And you said, "Yes, I am."
Yeah.
And that's it.
So even if you asked me afterwards, "Did you put my name in it?" Beforehand, you asked me beforehand, "Are you going to?" Even if you asked me later, "Did you stick my name in?" It would have been the same thing. Oh. So it's the same thing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't put his name in. So for some of you who do know my story, I don't think I haven't really spoken about my story. Yes, my family weren't really there for me. And it was hard enough for me to send this card, Father's Day. Obviously, I've got a lot of emotions, and I didn't even couldn't even imagine sticking his name on it and what he would have felt. I'm glad I didn't, because that card came back to us.
Yeah. So what happened was they sent someone to. We owned a shop, so they got someone to.
No, that was the second time round. I think that's the second. Was it the second time round? A card came back as well.
No,
was that
you've had loads going on. Trust me.
Oh.
So see, I've got to keep on tabs. So anyway, they sent someone to open the door and basically, put the card there, like whipped up. "Here, have your card back. We don't want it." So they sent
it came back to the.
Because our shops are open, So yeah. And anyway, I don't know if it was my mom or my sister, whoever was in the shop, going, "This is being put here," and Anyway, I opened it, I looked at it, and it was the card all ripped up. And again, I saw, your name, and it was my first thought and instinct wasn't about anything else. It was like, my name wasn't in it. She said she was going to. It was, I'm being honest. And I just went, that card. And I did say this. I went, that card that you sent, yeah? Did you put my name in there? And she went again. She goes, yeah. And yeah, I shouldn't have done it in that way. But I handed her the card. And then she looked at it. And then she opened it up. They basically ripped it and more or less saying, we
there's a note. There was a note in it. I still have this note.
Yeah,
believe it
and
or
a
not.
note, sort of like threatening note kind of thing. And it just like, for me, it was just like, there was a breakdown of trust. As in, I would have rather had someone, and it was because we're probably both young, and this is what I'm trying to say, I was young and behaving the way I was. But if now you here, you would have said, the you I know now, would have turned around and go, Steve, that's a bit silly. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
That would be you now.
Okay, so just like yourself.
And you would have just gone, I'm not going to do that. And why not? Because I'm not going to, he's not barely talking to me. And these are the circumstances. And I think it's best if I do that. And now, me being me now, I would have gone, I get it. I know. But that's what I'm trying to say is things that, and this is what I'm trying to say with people. I don't feel that I did anything wrong in how I felt because I was young and I just felt like trust is a big thing. And you've just, regardless of what it was, you didn't cheat on me or whatever, but it was that thing of you didn't do that. And for you was, well, you got to understand my circumstances. You shouldn't have asked me in the first place. But that's the thing. It's like me, anyone can say, so I'm not saying you did anything either. I'm saying, I can see where you're coming from, but I know where I was coming from. But if us two were playing those roles now, and that was to happen, I know for a fact is, number one, I wouldn't even bother asking you.
Yeah, because
I know your circumstances and everything, and I'm more clued on and switched on. I'm not a kid anymore. And I know that even if I had the stupidity to ask you, you would basically gone, I ain't doing it. And these are my reasons. And I would have gone, yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah, that's what you would be
That's
now.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you would be definitely if it was the case that you were the person you are now. But back then, it was a lot of pressure to have. I don't think it should have been asked, to be honest, especially in the circumstances I was in. It shouldn't have been asked to do that.
Okay, cool. That's your opinion.
I don't know. I mean, I would like to know anyone else's.
No, I don't think everyone else has gone through that.
But yeah, we haven't. But like, would they?
For me, the issue isn't about the card. The issue isn't about the family. The issue was about the breakdown of trust. And I still say that you basically looking at the issue of you shouldn't have asked me to do that because of my circumstances. I get that. That's your issue. My issue is that once I did ask, regardless of if I should have, it's like a wife turning around and going, can I have a look at your phone? And you're going, but why? What do you need to look at my phone for? Now, a husband can turn around and say, I don't understand why you even need to look at my phone. So wife will turn around and going, well, you know what I mean? Like the issue is, why can't I? What have you got to hide? Which one's wrong? The one who's asking to look at it, she should think first that it's his phone, his privacy. So why do I need to, when I've got my own phone, why do I need to look at it for? Or have it.
Well, anyway, regardless,
that's how my thing
that's
is.
Fine. So that was the thing that had happened, and it was really like shit. I would never do this again because the extent that you got to, it wasn't like a normal. I think to myself, if there was an affair or something that happened, geez, how mad you have gotten over something like that.
For me, it was just breakdown of trust.
It was crazy. And that would be something like someone would do if they were having an affair. That's how bad it was.
See, and again, that's your perspective. My perspective is trust regardless of what it is. That's it. Trust is trust. It's not, the thing is, in a relationship, in a marriage, a trust isn't just about someone going and having an affair. I break down the trust because I had an affair. I think trust is also, if a guy turns around and goes, I'm going to see my mates, but really, he knows that his parents can't stand his wife, and he's there sitting at his parents' house, having the time of his life. But yet he's told his wife something else. That's a breaker. But he ain't doing nothing bad. He hasn't hurt her. He isn't doing anything wrong. He's not with a, having an affair, but it's a breakdown of trust. He's told us something, but he's doing something else. And the whole conversation you want to know is, how much do you share with your partner? And if it is sharing everything, which is the point you was making, I share everything, which you do now, and I do now, then isn't that justifying what you're saying?
Of course it is.
That basically we should share everything. So sharing everything would have been, are you going to put my name in the card? Dear, no, I'm not. There's me sharing. Did you put it in? No, I didn't. There's me sharing. Me saying I did, but not doing it. You're not sharing the truth. You're not sharing everything. You're lying. The thing is that, and that's the point I was trying to make. I mean, it didn't happen. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise.
What do you mean?
As in, we learned from that moment of what it should be. That even those little things matter.
So it taught us something.
That's what I feel. That, you know what, to me was, yeah, okay, now I look at it and going, I can handle things differently. But at the same time, it took still a lot of time, because I feel that even that one little factor with everything, trust me, there's a past story of, like Sweet said, affairs, cheating, not with me or with Sweet, but in relationships and like family and stuff like that you would go like, where did it start? And that's what people have regarding trust. It's like a little kid stealing from, and this is what happened when I'm like a police officer for 20 years. This is what I would be going in people's houses. It's like a kid stealing a little sweet from a shop. It's only a penny sweet. No harm done. But when does it stop? If already isn't addressed or seen as something wrong or bad, and, worked on, that, no, this is wrong, regardless of what it is, it's the action, it's wrong, because it affects someone. Therefore, because otherwise the person goes, well, it didn't bother, it's only a penny. Tomorrow it's only 100 quid. Tomorrow it's only 1,000 quid. Tomorrow it's only 10,000 quid. Where does it end? When does the person turn around and go, well, this millionaire's got so much money, so does it matter if I take this much? Yes, it does matter. Regardless of how much they got, it's because it's not yours. And that's how I see it, is that if you already sort of break down that trust right from the beginning, then you need to build on it. And you can't turn around and go, well, it's only something minor. No, then you obviously don't trust me enough to tell me what it is. If it's minor, it shouldn't matter. That's how I saw it.
Yeah. I think in our circumstances.
But I still get that we were still both kids.
Yeah,
and
but
I still go that, yeah, I shouldn't. If I hindsight, I shouldn't have asked you to do it. I should have been more switched on, going, she hasn't got a relationship. She needs to build that. Why am I asking that for? Let her build her relationship with her father and her family first. And if they accept her, then she can work on getting me involved. But let her be part of that, because she needs to build that relationship with them. Now, me. That's me now. That I didn't think that, because I think individually we all think about ourselves. You hurt me, you didn't hurt them. You made him happy, yet he's not happy with you. He can't care less about you, but you didn't want to hurt his feelings by not putting my name, but you rather hurt the person's feelings who's actually there for you, supporting you. I'm there for you. I trust you, I love you, I care about you. That guy's basically saying, go do one, and you're there going, can't hurt his feelings. You don't matter. That was my thought, that, that person still, and I know it's your father and he should matter. Don't get me wrong. But at that time, it's like, he's more or less gone, do one, couldn't care less. And even now he's gone, do one, drop dead, I don't care less. And you've gone, I'd rather destroy this relationship that I got with this person than not destroy the relationship.
And that's all you see. You just see what you're going through, and you didn't see the hurt and pain. Not having the family around, not a single person, and having things that every time I try to reach out.
Well, when you're mature and you're older, I get that now.
Yeah.
But at that point, yeah, you do. And I think that's the point I'm trying to make with every relationship. Doesn't matter how old you are. When you get into a new relationship, you could be divorced, you could be married, you could be in your 30s, 40s, 20s. There's going to be youngsters watching this. When you go into a relationship, you're there, you don't look at all that. You do straight away going, how's this person treating me? You don't think, anything that happened,
you
you're
don't.
thinking, how am I feeling?
So now
why me?
sitting,
what have I done wrong to
I get it.
deserve this?
Yeah, that's what we do, is think about ourselves and what we want.
But as you grow, you start going, okay, this person matters to me. How can I make them happy?
Okay, get it. Yeah. So now, looking back at it, all those years back when it happened.
Are we still going to be looking back? I thought we were going
to
go
because
into
we're not going to speak about it. We will do, but before we end it, I would like to know, how do you feel about it all? Bearing in mind everything I was dealing with.
Yeah.
How do you like?
Firstly, like now, I said, looking back at it, if I was thinking and being the person I am now, and this is what, and this is why I always say to people, be patient in your relationships. Don't be quick to make decisions, judging and, break and stuff like that, because as you grow together, you start realizing that sometimes it's not the other person or the circumstance, it's yourself. You can change how you think and feel. If I was me now, the way I am, and dealing with that situation back then, or I was going to tell that guy, if I was like me,
or a father,
I'm the father, saying to him, and he said to me, this is what my wife's done, and I asked her, and she's done this. I would have gone, son, come over here. At the end of the day, can you see where she's coming from? She hasn't got a family. Firstly, you know what? Like I just said, let her build her bridges. Get closer to them. If they don't accept her, they're not going to accept you anyway. But you know how difficult it would be for her. So allow her, firstly, don't tell her to do that. Tell her to build those relationships. Secondly, if you do ask her and that happened and you went, wow, she lied, I would have gone, look at the bigger picture. She had no choice. But imagine how difficult it would have been for her to tell you as well. She didn't want to hurt your feelings.
That's exactly it was.
Right? But also she didn't want to hurt his feelings. So she was actually trying to be considerate to both of you. But she was trying to do the best thing. She didn't know that this was going to come back. And she did feel that, in this way, if it did amend things over there, then things would have been okay for everyone. And it wouldn't have probably hurt your feelings. But this also is a big lesson of, to you, son, don't lie, because sometimes you still come back and bite you in the ass. It's a lesson as well. You don't lie. You don't. No. Because it hurts your feelings.
Of course it does.
And, just like you felt right now, make sure you understand that and don't do that to her. Because if you hide anything from her, it will one day just come back just like that.
Yeah.
This wasn't that big. This wasn't that serious. But you can work and mend this. But improve on this. You clearly see that trust can easily break and takes ages to build again.
Yeah.
So work on that. That's what I would teach my children. Okay. So, sorry guys. Sorry.
We just went into our own little we don't speak about stuff, and I think I've never asked you those questions.
But since that time, we share everything, anything. Phones are on the tables. And not only ours. To be honest, our children are the same.
Yeah.
Our children aren't, it's our phone. What do you want to go in our phone for? Our son's phone is just lying over there and you can have his pin. And he couldn't give them monkeys that, what, he's not on it. Mum and dad can check my phone. I mean, he could be amazing and just hides all the history and everything. And it could be fantastic. But no, he doesn't,
Any time of the day we can pick his phone up and there's nothing to be like,
we could walk in and be like, what are you doing? And he'll just go,
here you go.
We
have to have his phone as soon as he comes home from school, because he can stay in the toilet just like every other man. He's already started straight into the toilet and he'll be on his phone for ages, just sitting there, and he won't come out. And
but okay. Even now, I would say to my kids, and this is honest truth, tell your partner everything. That's my thingy. There shouldn't be anything that you can't. If you feel that you can't tell them even the simplest things, then there's something wrong. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like Street said at the starting, it's not about, oh God, you sit there and you got together with someone and going, I went out with this guy, I slept with this one, did this. Not that. You don't have to bombard them. I'm just mean in general of, how's your day been? It's been like that. Oh, Fred from work, you try to hit on me. Without feeling that, oh God, better not tell him that because it's going to, create something and he doesn't need to know. Because if he comes out and finds out anyway, there's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
And, or, if things are happening at your mum and dad's house, if I don't tell him, it's going to be either embarrassing or, he's going to have an issue with it. No, just tell them. But then again, I guess for many people, what kind of relationships do they have? And that's the thing. Can they be openly, you know?
I don't think I could not, like, say, if I've got a very good friend or like a relative that's told me something, no one's going to tell me anything from now, but I feel like I always have to come back and share that with you. And I know you'd be the same because it's just we're one, aren't we?
And that's why
it's not going to go anywhere else.
You know, when people turn around and go, I bet she's having an affair, or I bet he's having an affair.
It's so funny.
Yeah, we get that on TikTok and videos and sometimes. And the weird thing
just by looking at someone.
Street and me are so much of best friends that we wouldn't even lose like a relationship, a partner. We would lose a friendship.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, what would happen is, being who we are, if we were to even do something wrong, I know for a fact that it will eat us up inside, that we would have to come straight away and going, you know what happened?
I did this.
This happened.
Yeah.
I need to tell you. Because it would just destroy that. I've just done this.
I think honesty is just and being honest, one, definitely, and also just being able to talk about everything.
No, but the thing is, well. I'm going to be also honest here, and I'm fully going to disclose. I don't think that, even though I've said partners should talk about anything, I'm talking about all those kinds of stuff, like simple things you don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
I still deep down think they shouldn't talk about everything. Everything. Sri, talks about everything. And I don't like that.
You do really. Can I stop you? No, Kenny.
Sri has to, put it this way, Sri wants to talk about everything. I don't know if other women are like that. I don't know if men are like that, but I'm not like that. But Sri will be basically like, I need to go to the toilet. It was like this. It was like that. It was like this. It was like that. I'm like going, what are you on? I don't want to know.
Excuse me. You're not supposed to air that.
It's my period. And it's like this. It's like this. And I'm like going, what are you doing? I don't know if other people do that. I'm like going, please, you know what? Can we have that relationship where you don't tell me everything? You know what Sweet's answer to it all is? The only reason I'll tell you is, if, say, I was to die in the toilet, or I was to die
why does it have to be with the toilet? I tell you a lot of other things. It's
not
always about...
I've got gangrene on my feet or something, you know what I mean, growing, or bunions and stuff like that. And
I don't have bunions.
Or whatever it might be, right? So it's got some spot on her butt that's not going, or a mole.
I'd make you pick it. You would have no choice but to.
She would actually tell me in detail, and I would more or less go,
what's wrong with that?
I don't want to know.
I want you to know.
I honestly don't want to know. And she's like going, but something was to happen to me. Don't you think it's better if you know? And I would be like, no, because the post-mortem, or the doctor would actually tell me after.
They don't know everything.
She died of this.
No.
And I would be going, okay,
it could have stemmed from this to that, and they wouldn't know where it stemmed from. So I tell you. And it's not like, for a fact that you secretly actually like...
No, I don't.
You do.
I don't.
You do. And if that was the case, if I had a spot on my arse, I'd make you pick it. And you'd enjoy it. Because I wouldn't get to it.
Just go away, man. Oh, God, this is gross.
It's not gross.
Sorry, guys.
This is what you call relationship goals. And you know what? Off camera, he'll be fine about it. He just wants to tell you that I'm a bit too much.
Shit. She's full of shit here. I'm telling you that now. I don't. Amount of time she says it, and I just more or less like...
Seriously? You really cringe?
They're sharing. All right, you know what? Honestly, I'd rather hear you tell me that you had an affair than you doing all this half stuff going on.
After the first mistake, oh my God.
But there you go. Then it was a lesson learned.
Exactly.
Lesson learned. It worked.
Exactly the way the devil that he turned into. Oh my God. He'd scared anyone. Anyway, don't get me started onto the extent of stuff that we share that I'm like, I wouldn't think any other relationship or anyone that I know, like who's married or has not done. Okay, I'm done. But to the extent we are, come on, I can twist it and tell. I don't want to say the things that I have to do.
I don't.
And we do, and I'm okay with it. Don't even. That's the same thing. Just because I tell you about stuff.
It's not.
That is. It's like me. No, I don't want to give any examples because if I give examples, then it's giving it away. But like giving it away. If I was to give examples on my behalf, it'll give it away, and I don't want to tell people how close we are.
I don't tell you about my stuff.
It's not about the stuff. We are too close. You know what I mean?
We need to back off.
You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean, but we need to back off. I'm just wondering, are people... Firstly, so close, open and honest about everything with their partners. And secondly, I still do believe that, you know what, when it comes to things that are, you know, happening in life, if you can't tell your partner, then there's some trust issue. You feel like I said, like Streets, that first issue or incident that happened did change. I think sometimes things happen for a reason, even though it wasn't good, and we both felt, you know, different towards it. You know, I had a different perspective of why we felt the way we did. Yeah. But I just felt like from that a different outcome came.
A different outcome came, but even like thinking about it more, it didn't just end there, because obviously lots was going on. The card itself that came back with a note. So can you imagine that note and everything? I've got that note upstairs still. The stuff that was written on there, but you still held your grudge for weeks.
But again, like I said, it is what it is. I can't turn back time, but I know I get it now. But the pain
from what was written on that note.
Yeah. And
I don't think if you were looking at it now, you'd be like, you would have been making sure.
And the thing is, the other thing I'm going to say is, guys, that's what also happens when you haven't got role models, or you haven't got people that you're like parents that you can turn to and get advice from. When you haven't got that, and this is the reason why we want to do these podcasts is like going, guys, look, we've been through a lot more shit that many of you guys have probably gone through. I'm not saying that there's some people who've gone through a lot more than us, but we didn't have family support. We didn't have friends. We went through a lot.
People were there, but they didn't really support it. They didn't know anything better. They weren't good role models, like you said.
Turn to them, and even the advice that they would have given wouldn't be the right advice. I know that for a fact.
Like for me, one thing that really sticks out to me a lot is when I went through. I mean, I've been going through a difficult times ever since. Like, it's always been on and off, and like then I just hit rock bottom. But the first time I ever had any kind of help, the person that I saw had turned around and said to me, she said, why did you not get support and help when you were 18, 19 years old? And she said, because how I see it is as you being in a car with your family and you being the only survivor, like obviously a big accident's happened and you being the only survivor, and you should have had help. How come no one in your family, your marriage, like you married into a household, we know what the circumstances, why didn't they ever give you any support or help? Like, why? It was a big thing. And I was like, that sticks to me, that sticks with me, because I was 18 years old.
But I'm not defending my family or anything like that, or myself or anything. But I know for a fact that we only came to the understanding, and even everyone else now, it's been more or less only in the past 10 years of seeking therapy or help or support, where to get it from, or it's become more in the norm.
I understand that.
Because for a fact that when we were younger, even in our 20s,
or
when we had our kids, dealing with our kids and not understanding ourselves or what we were going through, there was no such thing as therapy or help or mental health or depression or anxiety.
What I didn't like.
So if you think, even with them, they wouldn't have turned around and gone, hey, dear, you know what? You've gone there. You should go and see this therapist.
Even if they didn't know that.
But even in the Indian Asian community, even till now, they don't believe in mental health issues, depression, and those kind of things. I get that.
And even if they didn't know that, they didn't like, we found out 10 years ago, whatever else, not ourselves, we hit rock bottom to find those for ourselves. But even if they didn't, like they didn't have no understanding of how to communicate with me anyway. Didn't know how to consolidate me, and it wasn't even. There was a lot more to it. I'd walk out, I'd storm out. I didn't know what was going on in my brain. So many times I'd walk out and I'd, just sit on staircases anywhere, like just get out and cry my eyes out. And I remember just not long ago. You can talk about back then, but about a good 5 years. This is only 5 years ago. I heard from a close a member of family from yours. Were just recently talking about how I used to be back then. So still talking about now, when she just got married, she used to leave the house and she used to storm off and cry about stuff. She used to,
They never looked at it like you was an 8-year-old.
But would they have done that with their own children?
With no family and no support, no one's there, and she's trying to deal with things, and there's obviously got
But they're still doing it. They were still doing it now, telling other people my business, like what I was 18, when I was... You know what I mean? So that's still wrong. It's still not understanding. So even if you try and speak to those people, if they're going around talking about you, how could you even know?
And knowing that people would act totally differently to their own children, wouldn't they?
Of course they wouldn't have gone around speaking about their children like that. No. Not at all.
No. And I agree with that. And I do think that now it's not just about we've come to terms with, all this help and support, but yet you should have had help and support then. But like I said, I didn't have any clue. When you, certainly, like I said, even in the Asian community, we go on our TikToks. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is, our audience are different, like backgrounds, different cultures.
They're all amazing.
And fantastic. So, I'm glad that we, connect with so many. But with the Asian community, even now when we're on TikTok, you can see people who are white, black, and from different communities and backgrounds and stuff like that. They still open and understand more.
Yeah.
But you'll see quite a lot. There are many from the Asian community that understand it, but so many still believe that there's no such thing as mental health, or don't talk about it.
Yeah.
It's personal.
And
you should shut up
there's
and
that,
keep it to yourself.
And there's also that majority of people that there's that group of people as well who love that we have broken away, and they're like craving for it, but they can't step out of what they are.
And then it is people who there's people who relate because they've done something similar, but then there's, like you said, there's people who are still been stuck for such a long time, just looking and going, how did you guys do it? And knowing that this hasn't been easy. People who have actually even taken the step, they still struggle and they keep going back.
Yeah. And
they find it hard. And it isn't easy. And, I'm glad we are where we are now, but it's been a tough journey. And like you said, at that time, we didn't know anything better. But I just feel that now we're probably in a much better place to understand not only ourselves, but each other. Still growing. You still do, and we're going to. And you change and you adapt with the times. But you do look at it, what is the advice that you would give to somebody else who's in that situation? And I feel that we're in a better place to do that now because of all our journey kind of thing.
Not having that ourselves, not having someone to turn to, it just makes it that much more, especially when I look back and then I know how much I needed to speak to someone or just relate to somebody.
But I couldn't go to anyone and say, look, she's done this, or just am I acting right or am I being wrong? But even that, I think I've done a separate video myself that basically, even now when, say you went to your friends and said, my husband's been like this, husband's been like that, just again, like that program, I don't know if anyone's seen it, Married at First Sight, UK. We never watched it before.
It's people from TikTok told us about it.
Season 9, we watched it. And even then, you can see there's two different groups, right? There's women, and the judges said something that we said on our last podcast, and we were like mates because we've done the podcast first, saying that, can you see your support groups, your community around you can influence your thinking?
Exactly.
You had the women, certain women, basically saying to one woman, be like this, think like this, act like this, and you can see how she was, and then you had this, I'm going to say men because it was men, and they were talking in a different way and they were being supported. So what ends up happening is you also see, and if you see, that's now 2024. So can you imagine 25 years ago? And we even see now people on TikTok who say we haven't got supportive in-laws, friends, family. There still is that case.
I think I live my little fairy world thinking things have changed so much, things have evolved.
Because we've changed. We think that we're not
that it doesn't exist no more.
She does go like that.
I know, and it really upsets me when I hear people on TikTok talking to me about it, but openly, personally speaking about what it's just
people in their 50s and 60s still going through it. And then there's people in their 20s who are going through it with their parents, and you're going, I thought times have changed. People have changed. Communities are more aware and understanding. Because we see that knowledge, even people in India have changed.
Yeah, exactly. We've got the knowledge. We can just turn to anything
information
for advice.
They're seeing what's not like working, how it was why people feeling the way they are.
Not like how it was for us.
Yeah, we didn't have no social media. We had no internet. We just got to internet just came kind of thing.
We had to really break to really, really hit rock bottom to then, do some soul searching.
So that's what I'm saying is that I wasn't able to go to someone and saying, am I being a good husband, or am I thinking of things and dealing with things in the right way? Or is she right to behave or do the things she's done? And what I was getting to is, even now you'll see, if you went to your group of friends and said, hey, my husband's doing this and doing that, they look at you. Sometimes I don't think, or even your family members, if you're as close to your family members, some back in the days, I think did work in the sense that they would go, okay, I want these two people to stay together. Things go bad. How can we work it? It was like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But they don't look at the bigger picture that, okay, yeah, we want them to stay together. More or less, they were thinking that what people are going to say and she's going to come and no one's going to marry her again or marry him again. And
it wasn't really.
So they wanted people to stay, but not saying, okay, guys, look, we want you to stay. What is the issue? How can we help resolve it?
Yeah.
Or let's give you the understanding to resolve it.
Yeah.
Right? They wanted them to stay together for the wrong reason. My husband beating the crap out of me. He drinks all the time. He's having affairs. It doesn't matter. Don't tell anyone. Just stay with him. You got kids now. He's still your everything. But the Parameshwar, which means husband is your God kind of thing. And it was that kind of thing. We don't want to know. Don't tell his father what's going on. That was wrong. Staying for the wrong reasons. But then all I'm saying is that now it's more or less like you got to someone, you go in, my husband, he's been watching football all day and he's not even spent 5 minutes with me, doesn't do the washing, this, that, and the other. Red flag. Get rid of him. You know what? There's many more fish in the sea and you don't deserve to be treated so badly. He's a horrible person. And it ends up becoming like that. And this is what I'm trying to say is, girls or your family would give you your advice of going, is an ass. If we did what we did, how we were back then.
Yeah.
And guys, if I went to the guys and I went to my family, they're going, wow, she should be like this. They don't look at that. These two people want the same thing, but they need to just work on certain things to make things better.
Yeah. I think we are like, I feel like we've got a bloody degree on it. It's just like that panel. Like you see those judges. If we had a couple here, we'd know. We've always damn been right as well, don't you think so? Every time we've seen a couple, whether they stay together, it's always been the case.
We can, and it's weird.
We've never been wrong. Never.
No.
We need our own show.
I have, even when I was in the police for 20 years, I could walk in and someone could tell me a whole story of what's going on. And I'm going, this person lying through their teeth.
Yeah.
And, but yet they look genuine, they're crying, they're whatever. And then you realise, and
so with your skills from being a police officer and with what we've gone through, we really could.
Yeah, we've met couples and we've gone, they ain't gonna last.
Yeah.
And they don't last. And
it's not jinxing, it's just the way they communicate and the way they are with each other.
We're knowing that their backstories.
And the thing is, sometimes they'll ask us for advice and we give it, and then they don't want to talk to us.
They don't want to talk, no.
They don't want to talk afterwards.
It's like we're giving them their honest advice, honest opinion.
And then you realise a year later that they're not together.
Yeah, so that happens. And then we have had people who have actually been happy, who've gone implementing certain things that we've done, and you can see that their relationship changed.
We've had a lot of people who've been around us
what we did,
who just saw like how we were as a couple and never been like that before, and obviously got inspired by us, and then when they're drunk that they'll let it out and say, you know what, you guys have been
what I'm going to say is to people is,
and that's nice to know though.
It's nice, and you should be able to go, I went out with the lads and I had 8 pints instead of the 4, and not feel like, because she's going to be annoyed anyway, but at least you're honest.
Oh,
but what I was going to say was,
sorry, I sneezed right into that.
You should be able to be open and honest and share things without, feeling that there's something wrong. But then at the same time, what I was going to say was, it's building on the relationship. Like even now, I showed you that video of Deepika and Ranveer.
I think it's absolutely beautiful.
Ranveer Singh.
Yeah.
And they
the fact
implement
that they already
same
like
thing
that.
with us.
I love it.
We could still have disagreements. We could still argue over something, right? Like we probably nearly did when we were talking about our past, who's right and who's wrong. But then it's like you look at the bigger picture and going, it's two people who don't argue at all or don't have disagreements at all. They more or less gone, we've just settled for the relationship.
Yeah.
I mean,
so there's couples that you see that don't even talk to each other. They just sit, they walk together, but they're miles away from each other. They go to coffee, but they're not even talking to each other, just sitting there.
So we're not trying to portray that, everything's fantastic. I mean, trust me, we're nothing like we were. And we can probably pinpoint now and tell people in the year how many disagreements or arguments we have, to a T. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like, oh God, it's every day or every week. It's once every other month kind of thing.
Yeah.
Am I right? Or am I just you thinking, oh, he's full of shit?
Other than yours this morning, she don't give me a massage. I mean, that's
That
just
was an
pathetic.
argument,
No,
was
we
it?
got into a tiff.
She gets into it.
And that's on
Done
live. That was
TikTok
on live as well. They were loving it. I don't know. It would.
But it's that kind of thing. What I was going to say was that married couples have disagreements, have arguments, but you learn from it, you grow, and you accept it. It's not always happy, hunky-dory.
You just got to be willing to communicate with each other. That's it. Like, sit, take it easy, and also like that anger. Really,
you got to have patience.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. I know I didn't like that walking out on each other, but if you need that half an hour to like cool down.
See, and that is something you keep on learning and understanding. Like for me, is like, okay, you address everything, fine. Now let me give me time to walk away from this.
See, that's something that I've had to learn about him.
Walk away from this. Let me process what you're saying and understand it. Because if you want answers straight away right now, I am, and then she'll like, I'll come up with stuff straight away. And then I've also learned that she'll be like, oh, now you've been a police officer. You know what I mean?
I haven't said that in forever.
And she hasn't said that for ages.
Oh my God.
But she'll be like going, oh, here he is trying to be the police officer, trying to like control the situation and, and coming as a copper, trying to deal with the situation and put the points.
I am so glad you brought, because I used to say that a lot.
All the time. He's been a cop now.
When's the last time I've ever said that?
You haven't said it before since I've left. Well, probably in the first year that I did leave kind of thing.
Oh my God.
So she don't do that. But that is also for me going, okay, I can see where she's coming from. And I don't want to come across like that. I'm no longer a police officer. But I don't want to deal with, I'm taking in what you're saying, but I don't want to come across and, in such a way, I need to take time out. I need to process what she's saying. I need to understand it. Just like that whole situation we said earlier, at this moment, I could feel attacked. I could feel that you're wrong. I could feel that everything else I'm feeling about me. How am I feeling? How are you making me feel? How can I respond to that? But what I need to do is I need to process this, get away from this, to think, why is she saying this? What does she mean? What is behind this? And can I understand where she's coming from? And then when I do that, I'm going, okay, now I can go back there and going, okay, I agree with that. I disagree with that, but I can see where you're coming from with that. And it makes it easier. But Street was once again going, don't like you going away, or think, doing that. They're like, what are you doing? You're disrespecting me by going away.
Yeah, because you just go away. You need to say, look, I just need some time. That's so rude, don't you think? And also it's disrespectful. Yeah. Walking away without saying.
See, we still, like this. But anyway, that's how we deal with stuff. Yeah. And that's, like I said, that's our thoughts and opinions of sharing stuff as a couple. Obviously, we can always get into it more and, we go off track and go different ways. We just go down memory lane, resolving
but don't you think
to each other.
It kind of really helps because it's like bringing back stuff we don't really talk about. Just of the spare of the moment, it leads to anywhere to
guys,
everywhere.
Honestly, when we really get off our podcast and even
we
if
talk
people
even further.
If people don't listen, don't like and they think, oh, here we are. You know what makes us feel like, and maybe other people should try it, because we're talking about it, and regardless of knowing, and we've been open and honest. So it's not easy. So can you imagine? There's people out there without the cameras, without people watching. They can't communicate and openly talk about things that they've been through, how they made someone else feel, where they came from.
Yeah.
So we're doing this, hoping that other people can understand, relate, and going, because it's therapeutic. Like, really doing this, as soon as we finish, it feels like even though we weren't thinking about it, it's not something that we've come across our head and we've gone, oh my God, this is still bugging me. This is still needs resolving. We just happen to have it and we have this conversation. But after we finish, we feel like, God, weight's come off our head.
And it's not even that. It's like those lingering thoughts have probably been there. We just don't realize. We don't want to pick it up. We don't want to bring it up just on a normal day, thinking it probably will get us into it. Not that I don't think it will anymore. But you just don't do it, do you? No one. I don't think anyone does look back and think that maybe they are scared, like don't want to hurt someone else's feelings. It was ages ago, but it does really help move past it as well. It's like, what's that word? It's like not healing, but it's like what is that word you would say? Oh,
therapy.
No.
What?
Oh, it's gone straight out of my head.
Okay, I'm sure she'll get
It'll
back
come
to
back
it.
to me.
But anyway, I was going to say, going back to what we started.
Processing. Yeah, I feel like everything has to be processed,
Yeah,
don't you think
okay.
so? Like, you process, you understand. We've never really understood each other, why we did what we did or
No,
whatever
no,
else.
no.
Not. We've never, just don't want to speak about it. Like a typical Indian family would be like, put it under the carpet, don't bring it up.
I don't know if it's just Indian families, because
Just
when I
don't
dealt
speak
with
about it. Well, I'm just saying from what we
communities
know,
up there-
like,
yeah. I just feel like we didn't have people that we can go to and get that advice that we needed. And I hope that we can be those people, not just to our children, but to other people.
Yeah.
But going back to what we started the podcast on, because of everything we're talking about, I was going to more or less, hopefully can end it here. But people know about the whole body keeps a score kind of thing. I haven't read the book, but I know bits about it. Street has. The thing is that, you know what, when you keep things hidden and you keep things, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to share it, it affects your body.
I feel like that's something completely. This podcast has been long enough, but it does affect your body.
No.
We need
But
to
the
speak
reason
about
why
that in detail, because we've got
yeah, I
things
know,
we can
but
speak about a lot about
I
that.
was going to take that. I'm not going to go into detail about that. I'm just saying it affects your body, affects your mind, affects everyone in different ways, causing various issues. Going back to what we started the podcast, the bad news that we heard about Liam Payne. Obviously, drink, drugs. Again, I don't know the full ins and outs, so I'm not going to speculate or anything like that. It's not my place to do so. God rest, rest his soul. All I was going to say was, you don't know what he was going through, regardless of money he's got, how relationships he's got around. You don't know what his journey was that affected him, what was deep within, for someone who either couldn't express, share, relate. You don't know what goes on in someone's life to make them feel or do what they, what ends up happening. If it wasn't that, it could have been something else. There's other people going through different kind of circumstances. Sometimes, like people will tell you that some people get like diabetes or other illnesses due to, not feeling free, not feeling happy in themselves, feeling trapped, feeling that they've kept all this stuff inside that they couldn't release, they couldn't talk about to anyone. No one would understand, no one would listen.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say. And I'm not saying that his circumstances were the same, but drink, drugs, things, addictions people go into usually stem from things that they've gone through and things that they can't deal with. That part of it, that's one part. I'm not saying that there's other reasons, there's various other reasons, but things happen with people due to, things that have happened to them in their past and the present that's occurring.
Yeah.
And I'm just like saying that sometimes you just need someone that you can trust. And if you can't trust your partner, then you need to find a friend, a family member that you can look up to. It doesn't have to be your partner, that you can openly address, talk to, and let things out.
Yeah.
And hopefully knowing that that person is there to give you the right advice and you can trust them, so that not only have you let that go, but you can deal with those situations, even if it is with your partner or with your children or with your parents or with your friends, that, hey, I didn't know where I was coming from, but now I know and I can make things better. But also I feel good in myself.
Yeah.
That I think we all need that safe space.
Definitely. And that's just from our own experiences. Everything you've mentioned is obviously everything we've been through and can be spoken about.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sorry for the long podcast, guys.
It's a long one.
Let us know what you guys think, and share with us in the comments what your feelings, thoughts, and anything else that you guys think that we should speak about.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you so much for all the love and support once again. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.